Hey everyone, Migs here, and today I have a very special video for you. We are about 3 days away from Christmas, and I thought, you know what? I think it's time I share with y'all my own personal Christmas movie tier list. Now, we've had a lot of fun this year at the cost of my own sanity, what with all these horror games, and I thought, you know, as a huge thank you, I'd share with you my other love, which is of course film. A lot of people here don't know that when I first started this channel, it was meant to be a movie and film focused channel where I would react to upcoming trailers, and I would also discuss some new movies that I just watched, you know, in the theaters. But that didn't really pan out too well, and it was only a matter of time that I realized that my gaming videos were actually getting a lot more views, and so the channel turned into that. So I kind of wanted to go back in time, really, and just share with you again, you know, what my love, which is film, my other love, which is film. And I when it comes to Christmas films, I do have a very soft spot for those kind of films. Now, I'm not here to say that I am a connoisseur of this specific genre. There are a ton of these Christmas movies that I have not seen. As you can see, I've already placed them in the never watched section here of this curated list. But what I also did do was I added a few more than a few more movies onto this list that I thought should belong here. And yeah, and I'll be honest with you, there are some movies here that you may consider a hot take, or is that really a Christmas movie? I'll get into it and I'll explain to you why I think it is. And you know, while we're on this subject, you know, you should know, you guys are, most of the people that are on this channel are adults, and so when I place certain movies in certain tiers here, just know that it's my own opinion. I know you guys have your own, so just don't get too salty. I mean, it's Christmas after all. So here we go, you guys. And you know, I do hope that this tier list does help you out with you know, these last few days of the holiday. Maybe you could pop in one of these movies and while you wrap your gifts, you know, getting ready for the big day itself. Anyways, I am you know, talking too much here. Let's get to this list here. So first up, all right, so first that we have on the list is A Charlie Brown Christmas. And I have seen this movie more than a few times, sure, and I'll be honest with you, not really a huge fan of the Peanut Gang. You know, I find their voices kind of obnoxious. But I will say that this movie I do have a soft spot for, specifically because of the music. I wish I remembered the name of the composer, the pianist who writes the score of these Peanuts movies. He is a Bay Area native, which I am, and I think his music, that whole kind of jazzy piano, I think it's so good. It fits the theme so well with the Peanuts gang. And there is that one very memorable Christmas song that it does come into my mind every time that it you know, the season comes up. It's that how's it go? Christmas, da, 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 na, 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 na. You know that song, right? Anyways, that's a very lovely song, and you know, I think just for the music alone, I'm gonna place A Charlie Brown Christmas in the let's put it in the good, not even high good. I'll put it in like low good, but obviously I don't have a low good here, but good enough because of the music. All right, next movie we have Bad Santa. Now, I guess it would only have been a matter of time until we reached a certain kind of Christmas film where Santa would play a degenerate And this isn't, of course, the real Santa Claus. It's Billy Bob Thornton playing as a drunk, who's as a drunk who is playing as a mall Santa and just being the most terrible person ever. But I thought that the movie was it was pretty entertaining, but it did kind of wore off its certain gimmick, you know, like, oh, it's a bad Santa, he's gonna be bad throughout the whole film, and it just kind of got tiresome after that. And just for that, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Bad Santa. We're gonna put that in the bad list. Ooh, first one in the bad list, guys. Now, next one. Oh, this is gonna be a treat, y'all. We have Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Now, this has been a debatable subject for many, many years. That is this movie really considered a Christmas movie? I think it is, and it's because it takes place, during Christmas, in such a small time frame of Christmas that, all these things that are happening in this building, though it's not Christmas related, it is happening during that time of the year. And I think that in itself would be subject to a Christmas film. I mean, even Bruce Willis, doesn't he write on a dead body like ho 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 or something like that? I might be thinking of a meme, but it does make me think of that. And so for that, I really like Die Hard. I really, really like Die Hard just as a movie on its own. And considering that, it's not exact. There's no Santa Claus in this. Santa Claus isn't actually the one saving the day here. Considering that, we are gonna place this movie in great, because I will follow the rules here that a pure Christmas movie is somewhat gonna have that Christmas magic in here, and that really joyfulness, and Die Hard, don't get me wrong. If we were talking about just like movies in general, action movies, Die Hard would be probably in Legendary. But we're talking about Christmas movies here, where again, it's very heavily focused on the traditions and the subject matter versus just like, saving hostages from a building. You know where I'm getting at here. Again, this is my own opinion. I put it in great, guys. Great is good. Great is better than good. So we're gonna move on. All right, next movie we have up is Will Ferrell starring in Elf. This movie, I want to talk to you about this movie here. So, you know how they show A Christmas Story 24 hours on Christmas Day? At first I thought, oh, that's cute. That's a nice tradition to have every year. Now that I'm like old, let's just say that. Now that I'm pretty old, I kind of feel like I think it's time for a change, where I feel like they should cycle in a newer movie than having to repeat the same old Christmas story here. And I think that Elf would be a very good runner-up to that, just because it's so memorable. Will Ferrell is just a comedic genius in this movie. He really does feel like a child during Christmas, and considering that he is an elf who has lived in the North Pole for the longest time, you would think he would be used to being surrounded by this Christmas joy and Christmas cheer, but it's almost like he's experiencing it for the first time, and it's very adorable. Just seeing the fish out of water, and just really this fish who is reminding people the true meaning of Christmas. It's really lovely. It truly is. And for that, we're putting Elf in. We're putting it in Legendary. I thought about it real hard. I was like, is it great? It would either be a high grade or a very low Legendary, and I'm putting it up as a Legendary for now. But I mean, this is a kind of weird looking list so far. I mean, it looks like I have one for each section so far, but nothing in horrible and nothing in trash, at least not yet. Next up, we have Frosty the Snowman, a very, very classic stop motion film. I believe it was. Wait, was it stop motion? Okay, it is animated. Wow, that I thought I was going bananas there, going bonkers. But yeah, it was animated. Very old animated film. It had to have been around the same time as like Scooby-Doo, like maybe during the 70s or early 80s. And you know, I didn't really watch it much after, you know, whenever I watched it as a child. It does, of course, have that very nice and memorable song, Frosty the Snowman. And, you know, this kind of film you think would scare children just because of how similar Frosty looks like as compared to a clown. But I was never scared of Frosty, but then again, I was also never scared of clowns. But I am curious where other people see Frosty, how they see Frosty Snowman as, you know, are they terrified of the thing or do they find him pleasant? I mean, I'm sure. I remember the most recent Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson and Pam Anderson, where they go to that cabin and they build that snowman. I just remember seeing the snowman trying to kill him, and I thought, oh my god, imagine if like they made a Frosty the Snowman that was like this. And come to think of it, I actually think they have, but it was really one of those super B-rated movies, you know. But I didn't really bother with that. But I that concept is quite hilarious. But you know, back to the OG here of Frosty the Snowman. I had no problem with it. I had no issues with it. And for that, we're just gonna put it as good, because again, like, it's not something that I watch today. I mean, maybe I would, or I guess if someone was playing it on the television or what have you, I wouldn't be opposed to sitting down and, you know, giving it a good rewatch. You know, I think it's a good tradition, but as of right now, you know, it's gonna place in good just because I haven't seen it in so long. All right, next up on the list, we have a very special movie I hold dear to my heart. We're talking about Gremlins. That's right, we talk about that cute little mogwai named Gizmo, who was voiced by Howie Mandel. Yes, in fact, the same Howie Mandel that is pictured in your minds right now.
I'm Gizmo. I'm Gizmo.
You're Gizmo?
You're lying.
You're lying. Stop it. You're lying. Stop it.
Listen.
I love this movie so much. You know, it was terrifying and hilarious at the same time. I'm not sure if those creatures were created in the Jim Henson lab, whatever you want to call it, but if they did, then they truly blessed our souls with such a good, such a great movie. I mean, the rules that you had to go by taking care of a mogwai and how to kill a gremlin and all that. I love this movie. You know, I don't know which one I love more, though, if I love Gremlins or Gremlins 2, because Gremlins 2 became super campy, but I thought it was lovely. I love that really stupid humor, but Gremlins was just slightly a little more grounded. I don't know, but we're not talking about Gremlins 2, we're talking about Gremlins, the first one. This movie goes into the legendary. Yeah, 100%. I mean, who wouldn't want a mogwai for Christmas? Oh boy, here we go. We are getting into some juicy ones here with our next movie, Home Alone. I'm not. There's no discussion here, really. We're putting this in legendary. The sequel I see in the list also, which also is going to be in legendary. But you know, just talk about the first movie here. Oh my God! I mean, talk about another movie that could also replace A Christmas Story when it comes to a 24-hour circulation on Christmas Day. It's just such a 90s film, you know, this and its sequel, Home Alone 2. And I think, of course, everyone's favorite part of this movie, including myself, is, you know, the booby trap the booby trap scene at the very end. I mean, the imagination that Kevin has, to create these traps, like there wasn't there like a meme or whatever that Kevin McAllister is actually the young version of Jigsaw, the killer Jigsaw who then becomes Jigsaw. That I think is hilarious, and it does fit very well. And this is just such a treat and such a very good message at the ending, with him being judgmental of his neighbor, who turned out to be one of the sweetest guys he's ever known, who actually also saved his life. And then just the reunion with him and his mom at the end, and knowing that what's important is just being together. And that's just such a great message. So Home Alone, it belongs in the legendary. Now Home Alone 2 also is going to be in the legendary, and I have to say, as much as I love the original, I do enjoy the sequel a lot more, which is why it's going to climb up over Home Alone. And in fact, out of all these 4 right here, this is going to be on the top. In fact, let's do a little bit of this. Yeah, that looks good right there. Home Alone 2, the fact that it happened again, and it happened actually the following year, is so funny. It's like these parents are the most irresponsible parents ever. And what I do enjoy about this film is that it takes place in New York, which is just a bigger jungle for Kevin to play in. Granted that he spends most of the time in that hotel, he does, get to see a lot of other things, such as Rockefeller Center and that toy shop, Duncan's Toy Chest, I think that's what it was called. And not only that, but I think that the criminals, the wet bandits, or now I guess the sticky bandits, they really stepped it up with the comedy factor. Daniel Stern, I believe that's his name. He was the he didn't play Harry, he played Marv. His character, from the first movie to the second movie, have been so hilarious. Like anytime that he screams, it just like I can't help but laugh so hard. Just all the things that were added to this film made this series so great, and that's why I think that Home Alone 2 belongs at the very, very top over Home Alone. Anyways, let's move on to the next film. All right, next up we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is another film very much like Charlie Brown Christmas and Frosty the Snowman, where I don't really watch much of, these days. If it is on TV, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's quite pleasant and all. I don't really have much to say. It's good. Very great message at the end as well. Now, while we're on the subject of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, let's talk about the updated version, the in real life version starring Jim Carrey. I thought that this was hilarious. This I will be putting in great because his performance was so good. It's scarily good. There is a scene where he pulls what's it called, a tablecloth out while there's like stuff on top, and the things on top stay there. And so what he does, he goes back into the frame and just knocks everything over, which was improvised from what I hear, and I just thought that was so funny. I mean, his comedic timing in general is so great, and for that I'm putting him in great. Now, why isn't he in legendary? Because I kind of feel like, not only have I seen this tale told before, yeah, they did bring a little bit more backstory, but I kind of feel like, this film was just reliant on Jim Carrey's performance alone, which was fantastic, and that's why I'm putting it in great. Next up, all right, next movie we have It's a Wonderful Life. This movie has become pretty much everyone's sort of rite of passage kind of Christmas film, where it's like, oh, you gotta see that movie, you know, like it teaches such a great lesson, and sure it does, you know, just seeing how the world would be without you in it. You know, I think that's something that would be terrifying to see, but also an eye-opener, and just having to realize how great your life truly is. Very good message. I love there's not really a bad thing to say about this. This isn't a movie though that I watch every year. It's kind of just one of those movies where I've seen it once and I don't really see a reason to see it again. Maybe like later on in the future. It's just doesn't seem like a tradition thing for me, but you know, it is a great film. We are gonna place it in the great. All right, Jingle All the Way. I just rewatched this film the other day, and man, is this movie stupid. It is so dumb. I mean, sure, it has a lot of memorable moments in there, and plus a very creepy Phil Hartman, God rest his soul, but God, was he creepy in that movie. But just so much about this film, it just didn't make sense also. Like, when at the very end, like, as he is Turbo Man in the parade, how is he able to fly? They actually had this, they were gonna plan someone to be in this suit that flies and perform this, you know, act of bravery and all that. It was very confusing, you know, but yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger pulled it off. I'm surprised that he didn't die, but I digress. You know, it is meant to be just an unbelievable film, but it was just, you know, it was a chance for you to see Arnold Schwarzenegger out of his element. You know, rarely did we see him in a non-action movie, and then when we saw him in this, where you know, the odds were against him and everything, and it's he who's getting his ass whooped, you know, left and right. It's just a fun movie to watch. Is it legendary? I don't think so. Is it great? I don't think so. I think it's just good because it's stupid, but it's good. You'll watch it if it's on TV. Next movie I have up is Love Actually. I don't think a lot of people realize that this is a Christmas movie, or at least the events that take place within these characters are taken around Christmas time. It is, again, one of those movies where it's like the theme is surrounded by the event itself. But I think, you know, when you're comparing this to something like Die Hard, this is a lot more Christmas themed. I mean, there are people handing out gifts, there are people showing affection towards one another, and love is all around. The music, it's all very Christmassy, and just yeah, it's kind of like the events that people are having, the personal things that people are having, they're having to deal with around this time of the year. It's quite interesting, and I do love how everything kind of almost intertwines with one another. You know, it is like somewhat an anthology, but the characters do kind of know each other through other people within the movie and so forth. It's hard to explain, but it is a very clever, well thought out movie. For this, you know, like I said, it's not exactly like Christmas, ho ho ho, Santa Claus. It's got a little bit more serious undertones to it. For this, we're gonna put this in the good pile. Yeah. All right, so Miracle on 34th Street. I've only seen this movie once. Didn't really remember a whole lot, except for one scene that I thought was so pleasant. It is the scene where the Santa Claus in the mall, he there's this girl that sits on his lap, and the mother says that her daughter is actually deaf, and you know, you don't have to say anything. She just wanted to see you. And then what happens is the Santa starts signing to her, saying that she's very beautiful, all of this. And not only was that so lovely to see, but apparently the actress that plays the daughter is actually deaf and did not know that the actor that plays Santa was going to start signing to her. And so that expression that she has on her face is a genuine expression of, you know, she's smiling and ecstatic, and she probably did think that this is the real Santa. It was very, very good. I think just for that scene alone, granted, I don't know the rest of the movie really, but just for that scene alone, we're gonna place that in the good pile. Very good, very, very good. God, I just realized we still have so many other movies here, but we're gonna try to do we'll try to do this a little faster here. Crap. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is actually one of my all-time favorites. We're gonna place this immediately into the legendary pile, but it's gonna be right after Home Alone. Yeah, it's gonna take third place for now because Chevy Chase in this film is so funny. I mean, there's just so many fun moments in this, like when he's going down that sled in super high speed, or when he ends up, what does he do? Doesn't he end up like taking someone else's tree because his tree burned down, and then there was like a squirrel in that. And again, so many fun moments in that. That is actually my favorite out of all of the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. That one is also my favorite one right there. But yeah, definitely legendary. Next up. All right, next up we have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is a beloved classic with Steve Martin and John Candy. This movie was there's one other movie that copied this almost like to the T. It had Robert Downey Jr. in it called Due Date. This is the OG though. This is the one that you want to see. I thought it was great, lovely. I got nothing bad to say about it. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it in a while. So right now, I think it's fair that I actually place this in great, because I do remember seeing a lot of really good moments in that movie. Next up, we have The Polar Express. This movie, I flip-flop ever so often. It's crazy. It's like the most bipolar feeling I have for this film, because at one moment, I'm like, oh, this is great, you know, especially when they reach Christmas Town or the North Pole, and you're hearing all the elves sing and all that. I'm like, this is wonderful. And then I'm reminded how scary the faces are. You know, this was like during the start of the Uncanny Valley, and seeing just Tom Hanks's face, you know, in almost every character, it's quite unsettling. You know, for that, I was never going to put that in legendary, and I was never going to place this in great. I think it's just good. It's not bad, at least not this year. It's just good. All right, next movie we have up is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This movie is, again, a very old classic movie from the 70s. I think it's the 70s. I do remember a lot of scenes of it. I don't watch this movie every year, but there are certain things of this film that I will never forget. Like the sound of when his nose lights up. Oh, I don't know what it is about that sound. It's so satisfying to hear, though, to the fact that I'm going to have to play it right now. Oh, that's good sound. That's good sound. And, you know, it just tells the tale of Rudolph, which is something that I think every kid, you know, would enjoy, should enjoy. I don't know. It's just getting into the spirit of Christmas, what with these certain stories of lore and whatnot. This is definitely a movie that you'd want to give it a watch at least once, you know. This movie we're placing in the great pile. The Muppet Christmas Carol. I mean, I love the Muppets. They're so fun. Jim Henson created something very special with these creatures, and just seeing them in certain films, not only Christmas Carol, but like Muppets Take Manhattan, which is actually my favorite Muppet movie. It's just great seeing these characters either play themselves or play other characters, in certain, almost like stage plays, and that's what Muppet Christmas Carol felt like. It was like a stage play, and plus it stars a very notable Michael Caine, a very, well, not young, but younger Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. He isn't my favorite Ebenezer Scrooge, but he did pull it off really well. This movie is great, and which is why I'm placing it in the great pile. Nightmare Before Christmas. A lot of people are gonna probably give me hate for this. I'm not putting this as a bad film. I just think it's a little overrated. I've seen this more than enough times to give it a wise critique. I do like that it's stop motion. I do like that this was, Tim Burton's first attempt at that. And it's very, very Tim Burton-esque. And yeah, I don't know. It's clever. It's clever writing. I just don't know why. Everything about this movie is something that I should really enjoy, but I don't know what it is. It's just, it didn't really do it for me as much as it should have. But again, I think it's good, which is why we're going to place it in the good. The Santa Claus. I'm not a big fan of Tim Allen. Another hot take there. Go ahead. I'm not a fan of I mean, I have seen this movie a number of times, though. There are some fun things about it. Nothing really like to be amazed about. Yeah. I'm almost tempted to put this in the bad pile just because I'm not really a fan of Tim Allen. You know what? We'll put it in the good pile right now because it is very clever. Just the story itself. Just a guy who killed Santa and now he himself is the new Santa Claus. I think that's a pretty clever concept. They just should have picked someone else. That's just me, though. A Christmas Story. I already shared with you my thoughts about this film. I almost feel like because this movie was playing 24/7 every year on Christmas Day for forever, ever since this movie first came out, I think that because of that, it kind of wore me down as like a legendary film. I'm gonna put this in the great pile just because there are a lot of good things about this movie. I mean, it almost feels like, even with the narration, it almost feels like this movie was made like long time ago, like maybe in the 50s or 60s, which I think is where this movie takes place with these characters. And just a lot of really good funny scenes in this. My favorite, of course, is Ralphie when he sees Santa, and Santa just like pushing his head with his foot to have him like go down the slide. That was just so funny. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong, it's a great movie. Trading Places. I don't remember much about this besides it being starring Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. They trade places because of magic, right? Christmas magic. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. Oh God, I almost feel like I should put this in a never watch because I can't remember. Should I just put it there? I want to put it there because I don't want to give it like a rating that doesn't deserve that. Yeah, we're gonna put that there. Sorry guys, I should have looked at this a little better. Christmas with the Cranks. I did not enjoy this movie. Yeah, we're gonna put this in bad. Do I even maybe horrible? No, we're gonna place it in bad. Yeah. Santa Claus 2, I only saw once, and it stars Tim Allen. I think that once was enough, and so we're placing this in the bad pile. Booyah. 8 Crazy Nights with Adam Sandler. Now this, of course, is more about Hanukkah, I believe, than Christmas itself, but there are, of course, Christmas themes because it is around the same time of the year. The animation was cool. I thought that some of the voices were very obnoxious. In fact, I think this movie itself is pretty obnoxious. We're placing this in the bad pile. Look at that. The bad pile is climbing up, guys. Not good. Not good. Next movie we have up is Jack Frost. I actually really like this film. It is a different spin, a different take of Frosty the Snowman, where Michael Keaton plays as this family man who, he dies. Okay, sorry, spoiler alert. It's only like 20 years old. But he gets turned into a snowman, and he turns into a snowman because he needs to help out his son with something. But I thought that it was very touching, just having to see the family deal without him felt very real, and having Michael Keaton having to have him realize he needed to let go was so heartbreaking. It's, again, so very touching. Very great movie. Jack Frost is going to go in the, it's going to go in the legendary. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. Just Friends. Now, it took me a while. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely a Christmas film. This is the rom-com with Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart. And this movie is so funny because it starts off with Ryan Reynolds in a fat suit. And this is him in like high school. And he was, of course, getting picked on and whatnot. And he was madly in love with his best friend, but his best friend didn't seem that way. Fast forward to the future, he got caught and was still trying to get with his bestie from back in the day. It takes place around Christmas time. And there is, of course, a lot of Christmas themes to this, but no Christmas magic. Considering that, we are going to place this in the great. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for that. Office Christmas Party. I've only seen this movie once, and I didn't really see anything great about this. It felt like, comedy during the Christmas party, but considering I've only seen this once, there are far more Christmas episodes of The Office that I find more memorable. And I don't know, I kind of feel like I didn't like this movie too much, so we're going to place this in the bad pile. Hugo, I've seen a couple times. This is, again, another movie where it takes place, I believe, around Christmas time or maybe after Thanksgiving. There are no Christmas themes, though. This is more about... this is focused around film and how film is made, and it does present some magical elements, but not true magic, if you know what I mean. It's also Martin Scorsese's first family film, which I thought was kind of interesting and a little bit odd. It's kind of an anomaly, sure. So right now we're gonna place it in the good. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought that it was very well made. Sure. The Preacher's Wife. This is that movie with Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston. The only two things I remember is that Denzel Washington plays an angel, and Whitney Houston also had, I think she plays like a choir member, but she does have a song that went with this movie. I think does it go by like, I believe in miracles? That could be something else though. I don't know. Preacher's Wife. I'm also gonna place this in a never watch because there's just too much I don't remember about it. So there we go. The Night Before has become a almost like a more recent lovable Christmas film for me. I think it's just I think it's just great. Having these friends gather together around this time of the year to help with one of their buddies who lost his parents during Christmas. And so those two friends kind of become his foster parents, during this time of the year. And they just go through this adventure throughout the night trying to find like this big raging party. And as they do that, they do come across some mystical elements, you know, that kind of steer them in a direction where they need to be. It's a very lovely, not lovely, but it's it's a very interesting tale. I almost feel like this is derivative of like a very classic Christmas story, but I don't think it is. But if it is, let me know in the comments. But right now, we are placing. Oh, where'd I place it? Oh, it's right here. We're placing The Night Before in the great pile. That's right. All right, you guys, so we're going to do a little bit of speed round here because we are, I did not think I was going to go this long here. But Why Him? I've only seen once. I thought it was okay. I actually didn't think it was okay. I thought it was pretty bad. We're putting it in bad. 8-Bit Christmas, that's basically an updated version of A Christmas Story. Yeah, we're great. It's great. You Got Mail, not exactly a Christmas movie, but it's a fun rom-com. Brings back two actors that I love to see together, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. Again, not really a Christmas movie, though, so we're going to place this in the good pile. What's this? Last Christmas with Daenerys, right? I don't remember much about it. I think I didn't like it too much. I thought that her character was not that likable. Plus, it was also kind of obvious what was going on here, what with the guy. We're placing this in the bad pile. Sorry. Krampus. Krampus was all right. I thought it was a great take, and plus I am a fan of Christmas horror. We're going to place this in the good pile. Family Man. Family Man is, it's almost like another tale of It's a Wonderful Life here with Nick Cage and seeing his life as if he had taken a different choice. And it was actually pretty entertaining. We're going to place this in the great pile, actually. Yeah, not bad. Edward Scissorhands, this is another Tim Burton film, not really focused on Christmas, not like his other film, Nightmare Before Christmas, but there are Christmas elements. It does feel almost like a movie to watch around Christmas time. For that, we are going to place this in the good pile. Okay, now, yeah, you gotta really think about this, right? Harry Potter. Now we're not talking about a specific Harry Potter movie. We're talking about the whole collection here. For some reason, do you remember ABC Family? When, you know, people were watching cable, there was a channel called ABC Family, and during Christmas time, they would show like a Harry Potter marathon. I was like, oh, this is great. This actually replaces the Christmas Story when it comes to the Christmas marathon. And, you know, when you do think about it, there are so many scenes in these movies that take place around Christmas, and they're just so warm and touching, these scenes. You know, I think I even remember one of the last films, Deathly Hallows Part 1. He even, like, visits his family's grave on Christmas, knowing that, like, he may be joined with them soon, considering what's happening. Very good. Very good. I love Harry Potter. I love that it's this time of the year. I've already watched some of the movies this Christmas season. We're putting this in legendary. In fact, we are almost... Ooh, you know what? This may actually be on the top. Okay, you know what? We'll put it in between. It's weird, but we'll put it in between Home Alone 2 and Home Alone, because Home Alone 2 is more Christmas themed. Sure. Stop arguing with me. This is my list. Next up, Violent Night. I remember watching this when this came out, and it was definitely like Die Hard meets Santa. This was definitely like, if you're a fan of Die Hard, you would enjoy this. And David Harbour did play Santa really well. It was very gory. It was very fun. I'll put this in the great pile. The Nutcracker Prince, I actually just rewatched this yesterday. This was an animated movie. I think it's only like an hour long. You could actually watch this on YouTube. It stars a young Kiefer Sutherland, who voices the Nutcracker Prince. The animation is very dated, just letting you guys know. It was like back in 1990. But it's still told a very nice tale, great tale of the Nutcracker Prince. In fact, if it wasn't for this movie, I would have not known what the Nutcracker Prince is all about, you know, that story itself. For that, the Nutcracker Prince I'm placing in the great pile. Yeah. All right, next up we have Spirited with, again, Ryan Reynolds, a much aged Ryan Reynolds with Will Ferrell, two actors who are definitely familiar with the Christmas-themed movies. This movie was not that good, though. I kind of feel like it didn't know what it wanted to be. It kept on changing. You know, at one point it became like a musical, and then another point it was just straight up comedy, and another straight up drama. It didn't know what it wanted to be. I thought it was all over the place, and it didn't take too long for me to realize what was going on. And then at that point I was just like, oh, that's kind of dumb. We're putting this in the bad pile. Yeah, sorry. Love Hard is a Netflix original. I caught this one time, like one year, one Christmas time, and I thought it was actually really funny. It's about catfishing and what true love could actually look like. I'm not going to go into details here because, again, we're going fast mode. Love Hard is good. I highly recommend it, actually. We'll place that in the good pile. Yeah. Red One, Red One, you know what, just, you know, put that in the bad pile. That was that movie that starred The Rock, where they were kind of acting like the Santa was the president, and The Rock was kind of like his Secret Service, and it was just so stupid. It made me roll my eyes more often than it should have. Next up, we have Batman Returns. This is this is another movie that takes place around Christmas time. It's not Christmas themed. It is a movie that takes place around Christmas. But damn, if this movie is not a great movie that takes place around then. We're placing this in the great pile. Good movie. A Christmas Story Christmas. Now, I guess you could place this also as a movie to replace A Christmas Story. In fact, that would actually fit, you know, fairly well, considering that they are related. These are the same actors that are reprising their roles in this. So yeah, I was actually genuinely surprised of how good this movie was. Is it better or as good as the original? No, not necessarily, but I will put them side by side. Yeah, how about that? Definitely a must-watch. Serendipity. A lot of people don't know about this movie. It's a rom-com starring John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. I used to be the biggest fan of this movie, much because of its mysticism. It's very magical when it comes to fate and, you know, two souls. Do they belong together? It does take place around Christmas time, but two different time periods of Christmas. But just seeing how these two manage to find each other again, it is quite magical. I actually really like this movie. We're putting this in the great pile. The Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Holiday Special, whatever you want to call it. I remember watching this when it first came out, and I did chuckle a whole lot, specifically with one scene at the end where what's his face? Chris Pratt, he is about to open his present and he sees it move a little bit. Just to see his reaction in there was so funny. But I've only seen it once. I just had no desire to watch it again, and because of that, we're gonna place this in the good pile. Christmas Chronicles. Literally just finished watching this before I started hitting record on this video here. I thought this was pretty good. You know, I always wanted to see how Kurt Russell could play as a Santa Claus, and sure, he had a lot more edge to him, a little rock and roll, but he was also still very genuine and warm underneath him. And seeing like this family deal with like the trouble that they have, that has placed upon them, you know, it was seeing the resolution, how it all ended up was it was really good. I enjoyed this a lot. We're gonna place this in the we're gonna place this in the great pile. Yeah, yeah, why not? All right, and the final movie that we have here, this is not only my favorite holiday movie, but this is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. This is Scrooged with Bill Murray. My God, you cannot pick a better person to play a narcissist than Bill Murray. He just wears it on his sleeve so well. Just seeing the certain antics that he has to go through, what with the 3 ghosts. My favorite ghost, of course, being the ghost of Christmas Present, just because of how well she just beats his ass. And there's just so many like dark humor moments in here where you're like, did he just say what I think he said? That's so bad. But again, we're talking about a modern day Ebenezer Scrooge here. And what makes this movie so high up on that list, there is a line that I don't know if it was scripted or not. I kind of feel like it was improv, but at the end where Ebenezer Scrooge, whoever Bill Murray plays, it's a different name, but once he's gone through all 3 ghosts and he's become a new person, he says a line in front of the camera, and he's being broadcast to millions of people live, and he goes and says,
For a couple of hours out of the whole year, we are the people that we always hoped we would be.
That line is so powerful, like really think about it, because Christmas time, everyone's stressed, everyone's trying to just go through the day, and then to finally reach the day of, you're just, you're not just putting on a good smile, you're actually genuinely feeling the warmth of everyone around you, the people that love you and you love them back, and just giving, like for me, like giving feels a lot better than receiving, and just to see their expression, their joy of whatever it is, just spreading that goodness to people is the person that you've always wanted to be, and I truly believe that every person wants to be that person, even for a short while. That is such a powerful message, and I hope that resonates to you. And that right there is the Christmas movie tier list for me. Again, I didn't think this would take too long for me to make, but here we are. We finally made it, just about a little over an hour, but we finally made it. Again, this is my list. I hope I didn't offend people too much here. And though I know that some of you have been taking peeks at the movies I haven't watched here, there's still plenty of time for me to watch some of these movies that I haven't seen or don't really care to see, but I'll eventually get to them. But yeah, this is it. So I really hope this list does spark some interest in you. Maybe there's something here that you would like suggested to watch, and hopefully I did that. But if anything, I'm just happy that you've given this video a chance here, because it did take a while for me to create all this, considering that this is the final video of 2025. And for that, I want to thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. This has been a very fun year, as every year has always. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your guidance, and just thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, if you've been enjoying everything so far, do not forget to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, as well as ring the bell so that you're notified for the next video, which will be, of course, in 2026. And that's gonna be it for today. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching. My name is MigsXL, and a happy holidays to you all.